well, when it comes to looking your best, a lot of the time it begins with your hair. But ladies, combing all of this out and dealing with your hair can be a little bit of a pain. So let's brush up on our brushes and learn from what's best for your hair. We've got Local 4 style editor John Jordan. He is joining us, and who better to talk about this than the man with the best hair of them all. John, great to see you.
Thank you. Your hair looks beautiful today, as always.
Thank you. It's a little humid out there, so that's a whole other issue we can get to later.
Well, there are ways to address that. So
exactly.
Let's look at just some of the basics, though. I think everybody, really, no matter what your hair texture is or your style, you really need a detangler. Okay, so that's just to sort of get the process going. If you dry your hair, you need to have the right kind of brush to use on, with your hair dryer. And then, there's all kinds of styling brushes to just sort of refine it. So one brush probably isn't going to do it for most people.
Okay, so for the detangler, are we doing that while our hair is wet?
Well, so your hair is in its most fragile state when it's wet. But that's, that is how, you work conditioner through it. Obviously, it makes sense when you come out of the shower. Another way, though, to think about that, Kim, is to brush your hair thoroughly at night. And you could use a brush like this. It's called a boar's hair brush. I think this is a synthetic version. But these brushes are made specifically for all hair types to disperse your natural oil all the way down your hair shaft and keep it cleaner and in better condition.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what about when we brush our hair? Is there something that we should consider as far as timing? And is there like a method to brushing your hair?
So take your time, okay? We have some lovely models joining me here today. If you use a brush like this and you're racing the clock and there's a lot of bristles, and this is what this is what you think is necessary. This is eventually going to end up in your hair as a permanent feature. So it's about taking the time, if you need a little medication to keep yourself calm during the process, by all means do so, but take your time and use the right brush.
Okay, so brushes have changed so much over the years. There's a lot of new technologies. Can you kind of tell me what technologies we're seeing in the brushes that we're getting at the store today?
So this is really interesting to me. This is a detangling comb, but you can see there it is infused with coconut oil. So not only does, a brush comb detangler like this help because of the way that it's made, it's actually imparting coconut oil as you stroke through the hair. This is another little travel tip that I think is good. This is a styling brush. A lot of styling brushes look like this, but the bristles are metal. So you could blow dry your hair with this brush because the metal retains the heat, so you can kind of condense your effort.
All right. Okay, so John, there is absolutely no way you have stepped outside today because your hair is perfect. So how do we stop the humidity? Is there a brush for that?
Okay, so there are a couple things that you can do. Actually, this boar's hair brush is a good way to straighten hair. You can use this to blow dry your hair, and you might find that avoiding metal brushes will cut down on the amount of frizz because you're not damaging it as much. And the metal in your blow drying brush, whether it's gold or copper or even if it's a ceramic surface, you might be using the wrong material in your blow drying brush. It might be getting too hot, and therefore you're creating frizz that you wouldn't necessarily have.
Oh, and probably breakage too.
Yeah.
Real quick, could you lift up all the brushes you use to accomplish this look of your hair today?
Okay, just a few. Just, you know, just those few. And this is my favorite, though, a baby brush. This is for babies. I use it. This is a good beard brush. It's a good exfoliator for your face. It's good for your baby. It's good for pet hair removal, a lint brush. You can do suede brush, just a cheap little baby brush. Buy a few of these.
Wow, John, such a simple man. So little.
That's what they say.
Yeah, just so simple. Thank you so much for joining us, John, and thanks for the advice. Great tips there.
Thank you.